To my dear fellow cancer survivors, you can be victorious over cancer. It took a long time before I believed those words, but here I am, 26 years later, cancer-free and living, breathing proof that you can be victorious over cancer. In the next few minutes, lots of my friends who've had cancer are going to tell you how they beat it. Some of them truly believe that cancer was the best thing that ever happened to them because it forced them to change their lifestyles. I remember how I felt when my doctor gave me my diagnosis and spoke that dreaded word cancer, a word most people only whispered 26 years ago. I've learned a lot about cancer since then, such as the fact that a diagnosis of cancer is not a death sentence, that cancer is not contagious, and that there is no known form of cancer from which someone hasn't recovered. That is, at least some of us have survived all of the more than 100 types of cancer being treated today. For the past 11 years, I've worked every day with fellow cancer survivors through a nonprofit agency known as Life After Cancer in Asheville. We organize and conduct education, support, and therapy groups, provide counseling for men, women, and children who have or have had every kind of cancer imaginable. And we offer support for their families, too. Happily, many of my friends are now cancer-free, but many others are still battling it. They are fighters, wonderful, lovable, huggable fighters. In the spirit of friendship and love, we'd like to share with you a little of what we've seen and learned. So here are our love letters. Love, Peg.
Yo, Buffaloes, what a great team you are. It's hard to believe that we've been together as a team for almost 5 years, and I wanted to write and tell you again how grateful I am to you for the love and support that you've given to Jeannie, Tyler, Marion, and me since I was diagnosed with this incurable cancer. If you could see me today, you would think that there's nothing wrong with that guy, and for that I am very grateful to a loving God, to my doctors and nurses, but especially to you, the Buffaloes, my undefeatable champs. We have learned together that not talking about cancer is detrimental to the healing process. It's just another illness, and it needs to be talked about openly so that your friends and family can help you in your recovery. Having a team to help you hope is the best medicine you can have. Everyone needs a team, not just for an illness, but for all life's challenges. God doesn't want us to go through life alone. That's why He gave us each other to love one another. So if you're facing some problem, reach out, take some risk, build a team, and just see what happens. Love and hope will replace fear, and life will be good. God bless you, my friends. Jeannie and I thank God for you every day. Love, Bob.
Dear Bob, it's been a while since we last spoke. However, your words of encouragement, echoed so resoundingly in your book, continue to inspire me. I now include myself as one of those cancer survivors. Cancer is so traumatizing because it attacks everything, the body, the spirit, and the family. And there have been times when I've felt very, very alone. But, as you suggested in your book, I decided to attack the cancer aggressively, with a positive attitude, and I know it won't let me down.
Oh, Webster, you pointed all down the front of you.
Yes, I want to be a mom more than anything else. I want to nurture our boys, to dry those tears, to bandage those scrapes, to help with homework, to make them eat their asparagus and brush their teeth. I want to watch them in the outfield, even if they're observing ant hills instead of watching for outfield flies.
Try what you take. Get off the road. That's what you deserve.
Yes, our sons are my incentive to fight, and to fight long and hard.
Forget that. Y'all got me wet now.
Thinking of you and wishing you all the blessings and joys of life. Affectionately, Amelia.
But nonetheless, all of us seem to have good positive attitudes, and that's great because the chances of our normal body immune system fighting off the cancer is much greater than for those that have a downtrodden attitude that, oh, why me? Why did God do this to me? Etc., etc.
But here there's a closeness that you don't find among the general public. And I think that we'd do anything we could for each other, and we're just all there for each other. I would like to give a piece of advice to anybody who is planning to have breast cancer. Don't have it in October, because that's Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and you hear all these terrible things.
That's when I became aware of it.
Yes.
In October.
I was going to be a basket case pretty soon because I kept hearing all these things about the terrible things that could happen to you. And one day I decided that if you knew more about it, you'd be better off. I mean, it's what you don't know that hurts you. So I called Peg, and we had a nice talk, and finally she asked me something and said, why? What caused you to call me? And I said, well, I've been hearing all these horror stories. She said, well, if you come out here, we'll teach you to deal with those horror stories. And not only that, we'll teach you to tell the people to shut up in a nice way. And that appealed to me more than anything I had heard. So I came to the next meeting. That was 5 years ago, almost. I don't know whether I can tell people to shut up in a nice way, but what they say doesn't bother me anymore. I must have learned something.
Yes.
Dear doctors, nurses, and social workers who have worked so hard to help me and other cancer survivors. I suppose I'm speaking for millions of us when I say thanks to each of you for what you've done for us. Sometimes yours is a thankless job, and it shouldn't be that way. You deserve much more than just a pat on the back. You deserve our most sincere respect and admiration. You give hope, you give love, and you give your lives to cancer patients like me, praying that we'll be fully cured and we'll be able to live long, healthy lives. I remember that several of you told me in the hospital that if I would keep my chin up and fight cancer with all my energy, before long I would be lifting weights and working out again. You were right, of course, and your encouragement really kept me going when I felt like giving up. Maybe we don't say it often enough, but we really do appreciate you and love you. With grateful thanks, Buster.
Dear Dick, things looked pretty gloomy for us 16 years ago when you were diagnosed with cancer, with no hope and told you had 90 days to live. Little did we know that before long we would be devoting our lives to helping people with cancer have the best chance of beating it. You've done so much for so many people, Dick. But through it all, you've somehow kept your family first. That seems to be one of the keys to beating cancer. Stay close to your friends and family and accept support from those who care about you. You never closed yourself off from us. I remember so well the night before your surgery when we hopped into bed with our 2 grown daughters and giggled and laughed and hugged and kissed. What a sight that was. But it helped heal you. I'm convinced of that. In fact, it helped heal all of us. The stress that we all felt before your surgery was tremendous, and the laughter helped relieve it. Everyone, including those without cancer, should laugh every day, as often as possible. It's great therapy. And also, never give up hope. There's always something that can be done. And so from the girls and me and all your friends, thanks, Dick. You're a very special man, and I love you. Annette.
This may sound strange, but I regard being diagnosed with cancer as a blessing in that it made me see what I was doing. I was not just destroying one life, I was destroying several. So I've kind of been given the proverbial second chance.
Dear family, my wish for you is that you have the fortitude to find the real you, and that you don't have to become critically ill to do so. Remember to never give up. Always take charge of your present and future, forgiving the past. Never blame others for your mistakes. Be honest always. Keep a sense of humor. Give the neighborhood cat a chin scratch occasionally. Never let a time go by that you don't find something good in every day. Don't hold back. Develop the wisdom and strength to know when to ask for help. I'm not saying any of this is easy. It doesn't really have to be easy, just mandatory, in order to live life to the fullest and to develop into the person you were meant to be. Never forget you are the sunshine in my life. I love you, Mom.
I usually took pretty good care of myself, but when we got in real deep stress that I was not used to and found this, I thought it was a good slogan. I've worn it around a lot. Can you see what it says? Okay. Well, that's a pretty good motto for everybody to follow. Start taking care of yourselves early, and maybe you won't get cancer. Particularly watch that immune system. Sleep, exercise every day, laugh a lot, planning ahead, planning something to do in the future. And this is a thing that I've found by studying. All I could learn about the immune system was that it can be revitalized, and when it does, those are the times we see these spontaneous remissions that people have, and we haven't been able to explain it so far. But those T cells do become reactivated. They go after the cancer cells and keep us free of it, as they do when we are feeling our best and normal.
To my dear ones, 2 times a year for the past 6 years we've been told that I've only got 6 months to live. I guess we've proved the experts wrong 12 times. Maybe soon they'll quit diagnosing my cancer this way. Or maybe I'll set some sort of world record for beating cancer. Whatever happens, I'll give the credit back to you and to God. My advice to my fellow cancer survivors is this: you are not an island unto yourself. People want to love you and care for you. You must let them do that. Whether it's a support group like Life After Cancer Pathways, or hospice, or doctors or nurses, friends or family, you must open up and share and let them love you. Hey, look at me. I've beaten the odds 12 times so far. It works. Let others into the garden of your life. They can help you tend it and make it even more beautiful. Remember to bloom where you're planted. Love, Lainey.
It was through cancer that this all came back into balance again, and my life is the fullest, the happiest, the healthiest, etc., more aware than it's ever been.
And then out here, we're going to be looking at this west elevation right here. As far as the roof. You know, Jesse, so many people helped me through the chemotherapy and surgery. Grandma and Grandpa, your mom, Amber, Zach, Matthew, my good friend Annie. But whenever I needed to be lifted up, I'd look at your picture and remember how you never gave up living your life as fully as you could, and how the light in your eyes never got dark no matter how hard things got for you. And I always thought, if you can do it, I guess I can do it too. Yeah, to be strong, I learned from you, my wonderful, beautiful son. Love forever, Dad. That's what I've gotten out of the group, and that's what I continue to get, and that's what I'm looking to get. There's the support, and I think without groups like this, you're alone. And that's not good for anybody.
Well, this may sound very superficial. When I first came here, I was outside the door and I heard all these people laughing, and I thought, I'm on the wrong floor. And what I get out of the group is the fun. And you know, if laughter is the best medicine, then I've come to the right place. I have to say, as far as forgiveness is concerned, like Mimi, I have to forgive myself. I'm extremely hard on myself. And I'm learning to do that, and I'm learning to go to the mirror and say, you're really quite a nice person after all. And if that, you know, makes you feel better about yourself and helps with the healing, that's wonderful. That's wonderful.
Dear Chet, you have been with me on this cancer road for over 10 years. Now you're on the road too. When we heard your diagnosis in February of '93, the world stopped. How could you, Chet, my husband, ever get cancer? But we heard the words, read the reports, and it really was true. I was so scared. More than when we first heard my own diagnosis. It was then I realized how much I had taken from you and how much strength, love, and courage you had given and taught me. Could I be there for you the same way? I hope I have. The best thing I've learned from having had cancer and being with you in your cancer is that I can feel, I can give, and I can receive, and I thank you, and I love you. Love, Marga.
To all the people in life after cancer, particularly those who have shared with me in the Thursday psychotherapy group and at retreats. I've experienced and learned ways for dealing more effectively with negative emotions, examples like depression, anger, sadness, self-pity, lack of confidence and control in our lives. We've experienced joy, laughter, confidence, acceptance, internal peace and love, while gaining insights and changing the immune-suppressing emotions. If any of you watching have cancer, I want to encourage you to seek out a similar cancer program and support group in your area. Peace and love, Carl.
To my dear players and former players, 20 fabulous years have come and gone, and it still seems like a dream. Having been associated with wonderful women like you, being privileged to be part of a major university, and having coached an Olympic gold medal team, these are all gifts from God, and I thank Him daily that He has blessed me in such an abundant way. And now for your coach's orders. Ladies, get your annual physicals. Get your pap smears. And if your doctor suggests a mammogram, by all means have one taken. Cancer, all cancer, is treatable if the doctors catch it early. I care deeply for each of you. Thank you for your prayers and support during my surgery and treatment. God bless you. Love, Coach Yao.
Dear Mom, well, we've done it. We've reached another year since our battle with cancer began. And with each new day, it looks more and more hopeful that we've won the fight. I want to thank Grandmother, Aunt Sherry, Jimmy, Kenny, and all our family and friends who visited me in the hospital and stuck by me when the going got rough. I love all of you, but especially Mom. I love you. Love, Alan.
And the biggest change that came over me is I got rid of the anger over my family. And for that, I thank this group. I thank the special sessions we had on anger, which were very, very helpful. And one thing, one thing that I learned was how dangerous it is that today, a year ago, I was able to be as angry at my family surroundings as I was when I was a teenager. And think of how unhealthy that is. And I was so pleased to learn how to control that, to get rid of it. And that's made me, I think, an entirely different person.
At the end of each group, Jeannie or Peg always asks us, does anybody have anything coming up? And what they mean is a treatment or a doctor's appointment or something that's maybe not so much fun. And we know that everybody is thinking about us during those stressful times. But we also enjoy sharing with each other fun things that we're planning. And it gets me excited to know that I have something fun planned that I can share with the group. And so that pushes me a little bit to plan fun, exciting things. And often Peg would say, so when are you going to Disney World? Or when? And I would think, well, I'm not going to do that. I'm sick. I have cancer. But then she asked me enough times, I started calling the travel agency and started making plans. And I've had a lot of really good trips that I probably should have had 20 years ago and never got off my self to do it. And so thanks. I've had some good times because of you.
And you don't have anxiety attacks before you get on the plane.
Not a one. No. No, that's another thing. Having cancer will get you over the fear of flying.
I guess I could write 2 or 3 books about cancer and how unfair this disease is. But what disease is fair? None of them are. When I got my diagnosis of cancer, it was such a shock. It was so totally unexpected that I didn't know what to say or do. It was like a doctor once said, when you get cancer, it's like being dropped into the middle of a tropical jungle and realizing that you don't have any survival skills and you haven't been trained to handle what's coming. That's why cancer support groups are so important. They teach you those survival skills that you will need. I guess the moral of the story is, women, get your physicals, mammograms, and pap smears. And men, all of you, get those physicals. Cancer doesn't play favorites.